Okay, to go in on how to make Mexican rice, you can use a pan like this, or you can use a flatter one. It just depends on how much rice you're making. You can use canola oil or vegetable oil of your choice. Some people actually use like lard or something. Add, well, depending on how much you want, from a teaspoon to tablespoon of oil. You let that heat up for a minute so it gets hot, because you're going to try to brown the rice. See how we want to heat up that oil. While I'm waiting for that to heat up, I have also, this is what I get. This is a softer one. You can get the little chunks. There's the little square ones. They're about like that big, and they're kind of hard. You can use that, or you can use the loose one, which comes in the big jar type deal. It's green. I believe it's both the same brand. This is what this one looks like. It's a little softer. It melts easier into there. And I buy this. I like to use this because then I don't really have to add as much to it. And I like a little spice. And tomato sauce, not a sauce. And you can add water, or you could use chicken broth. I like to add chicken broth. That gives it a little bit more flavor. You're going to need salt and onion powder. You can also chop up onion and put it in there, and I like to cook it as I'm browning the rice, so it kind of enhances the flavor. Or you can add vegetables to it. Some people add vegetables. Okay, so I'm going to add the rice. I have a cup of rice. You can add the amount you want. Sometimes I'll do a cup and a half, depending on how many people's here, or more, depending on it. So I'm going to stir it up real quick so all the oil soaks into the rice. And I'm going to let it sit for a minute. Okay, it's going to look like about like that, where it's a little bit brown. You don't want to burn it, because then it'd be all bad then if you burn it. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add the chicken broth. Since I added 1 cup, so I add 2 cups of it. Like I said, you can do the water. Or some people use, instead of chicken, they use the beef, but we prefer chicken. So add that. Add the bouillon. I'm going to add 1. Sometimes I add 2, but since I added chicken broth, it's a little bit different. And I have it on medium right now because my stove goes overboard on the heat. So, and then I'm going to add the tomato sauces. Should open beforehand. Okay, I'm going to add about that much tomato sauce. See how there's only a little bit? If there's more, then add more. And this one, I'm going to only add a little bit because it can get spicy. I'm going to add just a few drops of it. Now what I do with the sauce, leftover sauce, I freeze it and I can use it later for other recipes or for the rice. It just depends. And what I'm going to do also is I'm going to add salt, just regular salt to it. Add a good amount for taste. And you're going to add onion powder. If you add garlic, it tastes a little funny if you add garlic. I've done that before. Yeah, onion. Yeah. Onion powder. And then you can add also to a little bit more cumin. You can add cumin or other flavorings, however you want. So what you do now, you let it bring to boil. Let that happen. Okay, once it's to a boil, you're gonna let it boil for a little bit longer. That's how it should look. You can add more if you want, but there should be just a light color to the broth. And if you like spicy, you can add a little bit more, but like I said, be careful because this stuff can be potent. Or you can add your own chili powder, cumin, onion powder, the salt as well. It's been boiling for quite a bit. So what you do now, I'm going to turn it on low, put the lid on it, and let it simmer for a little bit, and I'll be back. Once most of the water is evaporated, you're going to take it off the stove, off the heat, and move it to the side, put the lid back on it, and let it sit for a bit so it can absorb the rest, and it kind of gets that dry look to it almost. Once it sits for a little bit, and voila, you have your rice. Yep, that's pretty much it.